this painting, able to get idea, creating a sunrise cirrus cloud acrylic painting involves a wet on dry layering process. We will first blend a vibrant sunrise gradient. Let it dry first, then use a dry brush techniques with a thin titania white and warm sunset tones to create wispy fanny mod styles that stretch across the canvas. Needing our art materials: light blue, lemon yellow, orange and magenta, flat brush size 16, Filbert brush 6. And now a cup of water and a few paper towels. First going to create the sky background. So I am adding little light blue and the titania white, mix well together and start at the very top of our canvas with the light blue, and just a white dry brush, apply horizontal strokes moving left to right. Leave amount a quarter of our canvas blank below it. Leave from the bottom light tones up into the darker shades to keep the horizon clean. Work quickly while the acrylics are wet, making soft horizontal brush strokes back and forth to blend the meeting points of the colors so you have smooth glowing gradient from dark to light and cool to warm yellow, the base to dry complete. Going to add the transition. I am adding lemon yellow. Move down to the middle section and apply lemon yellow. Blend the transition while the paint is completely wet. Wipe our brush clean and use long horizontal sweeping strokes to blend the borders upwards. Work quickly as our brush the lemon yellow towards the blue. Gently overlap the strokes where the two colors meet. The blue and lemon yellow will mix to create a soft muted mid-tone which perfectly mimics a natural atmospheric sky. Next, going to paint the horizon. Apply the orange to the bottom portion of our sky. Blend the orange upward into the lemon yellow using gently overlapping horizontal strokes. The orange will warm up the yellow, so creating a brilliant glowing horizon. And now here the orange and yellow meet and a little very bottom near the horizon where the sunlight is strongest. Softly sweep and brush back and forth horizontally to blend the edges until achieve a smooth gradient. Always acrylics are dry fast, so to get a seamless blend, make sure your horizontal strokes are continuous and work on the whole sky at once rather than doing one color at a time. Next to creating realistic and cirrus clouds shadows, first using a blue and magenta mixed well together. This acrylic painting involves layering highly thinned transparent colors over a warm sunlit background. The key to success is glazing, applying extremely diluted paints so the underlying light can shine through. Now I am going to mix the shadows colors for this, and first I am picking little light blue and magenta mixed well together and apply the clouds and shadows first. Paint the wispy shapes, hold the brush loosely and lightly sweep it across the canvas to create circles and waves like the shapes and paint. Horizontal streaks are very important. Do not press down hard, and the transparency of the thin paint will instantly mimic the airy, high-altitude nature of cirrus clouds. Sweeping C-shaped curved motions, pulling the paint in the diagonal directions across the upper sky. Flick our wrist at the end of the strokes to let the tiles naturally taper off into the nothingness. The brush loosely using sweeping or small circular motion. Scrap the brush lightly onto the canvas. This friction from the dry brush will force the paint to feather. Mix our initial shadow and using a touch of orange and little yellow to create a soft warm pastel shade. Dip only the very tip of our dry Filbert brush into the paint mixture. And just hold the brush flat way just against the canvas surface rather than upright. Pull the brush across the sky diagonally in long sweeping arching motions to mimic mod styles. Apply light pressure at the start of the strokes. Press down slightly into the middle and flick or wrist at the end and naturally taper the cloud into the wispy point. Just to continue the scrubbing motion, scrub the brush across the canvas in elongated C shapes. Wave-like motions or quick back and forth passes to dry bristles will skip across the canvas texture, creating a natural feather like a semi-transparent look. The cirrus clouds are not puffy mosses and she-shaped and sweeping motions. Cirrus clouds, you do not want thick fluffy mosses. Hold your Filbert brush lightly by handle and make delicate elongated she-shapes, horizontal sweeps and light waves like flicking motions. Vary the pressure and press slightly harder to start the cloud body and gently lift the brush completely off the canvas to create fading hair-like trails. Next, going to creating the highlights and blending. I am using the same Filbert brush. Wait a few minutes for the shadow layer to become dry to the touch. Mix a very thin titanium white, a lightly dry brush and sweep this white over the down sun facing curves of a painted clouds to create a glowing highlight. If any edges feel too harsh, take a clean, slightly the dry brush and softly puff the edges of a blue with magenta strokes into the sky beneath them. Just time continuously apply the sunlit edges of the clouds overlap slightly with this white color. Just very important, build transparency from the shadow to thick white highlights. The very pressure is very important. Just press hard for dense clouds, centers and feather out for soft edges. Just ensure our canvas has dry base layer of the sky blue. Once completing this, just leave it couple of minutes to dry. Next, create highlights and wisp. Flicking once most of this paint has run off our brush, use the very edge or corner of the Filbert brush to flick or pull the white paint into tiny separate wisps. High contrast, focus the brightest, most baggy strokes of pure titanium white on the upper leading edges of the cloud formations where the sun is hitting them. Just continuously adding this load pure and diluted titanium white onto the rounded disc and scrub firmly along the top edges of these clouds. Flick the brush outward to create long feather-like tails. Next, going to apply the sunrise highlight. Load pure titanium white with a little yellow, mix well together and onto the tip of our brush and wipe away the excess. The layer of this color strictly onto the undersides of the clouds facing the horizon line, which is where the morning sun hits high altitude clouds. And final highlighting with white, and next drag the white softly over the first layer, allowing the warm underlying colors to show through the sheer edges for a luminous glowing effect. For our final highlighting with this titanium white on a Filbert brush and gently trace the very top with blue edges or longest cloud strokes. Here few success for this technique. The dry brush rule: never add water to our brush during this process. Water thins acrylics into glaze. So wherever our dry brush created the broken delicate texture, needed the wispy clouds. And next, paint longer, thicker streaks at the top of our canvas and shorter, tightly clustered lines near the horizon line to build immediate perspective. Avoid symmetry. Keep your strokes random and broken. Cirrus clouds are wind toned, so avoiding uniform patterns creates a believable sky. Pure titanium white over the shadow areas. So this adds three-dimensional depth and makes the clouds appear luminous and layered. Just that success for this, keep it loose. Cirrus clouds are meant to look dreamy, not rigid. Don't overwork the paint. Just leave some textures and let the color slightly blend directly on the canvas.